Welcome to another episode of CrossTalk. My name is Kevin Tocci. I will be your guest for I'll actually be your host for the next 30 minutes. I do have a guest. That's how it normally works here on CrossTalk. As I like to do at the beginning of every program, I like to give you kind of an idea of what this program is all about. A lot of time is taken into looking for guests from both communities that we serve, both the Whitman and Hanson area, just to better inform folks of some of the things that you may not know about, or even inform you about items like maybe things that are coming up for town meeting, might be special events, could be about, I don't know, a who's who in the community. This particular program today, we are going to learn about a particular board, a commission that operates in the town of Whitman. It is the Whitman Cultural Council, and joining me today is Jan Horkey. She is one of the longer tenured members of the board. Welcome to CrossTalk.
Thank you.
She is here now. She is a trooper because I did ask many of the members. I asked a couple of members if they would come on, or I actually threw a member to see who would like to come on, and Jen was like, if it's for the good of the cultural council and for the good of the community, I will do it. Isn't that correct?
Oh, sure, just like that.
But no, the idea is to kind of find out a little bit about what the Cultural Council does, what purpose does it serve, what are some of the events and things that it helps organize and put forth. Tell us a little bit about yourself first.
Personally, you mean, or about the council?
You could say just as an overview. Hi, I'm a Whitman resident. I've been here for so long.
I've lived in Whitman for about almost 49 years.
But you're not technically a townie.
No, I came from Braintree.
Oh.
Yes.
That much you missed it.
I have two children. My son, Dave, lives here in Whitman. My husband was a teacher down at the high school for 30-something years before he retired. He was a biology teacher. My daughter lives in Easton and has a son. And so it's all local and very much part of Whitman.
Talk to us about the committee, the Cultural Council. What got you involved? What enticed you to become involved with this committee?
Well, back in the 80s, I worked for DYS, the Department of Youth Services, for 18 years. And there wasn't any money to do anything. It was paid for by the state. The kids were locked up for 3 to 6 months. And so there was no finances other than to pay our salaries. So I read in the paper that the Brockton Cultural Council was having grants available, and I applied for one. We all had to go there and sit and talk as a group and explain why ours was so important, which seemed weird because I thought after listening to some of the others, I didn't know if we'd get anything, but they granted us to go to the Fuller Art Museum, which was really cool because the kids had never been to a museum, most of those boys. And then the next year, they granted us to go to the Brockton Symphony Orchestra at Brockton High School for the Christmas program. And at first the kids thought that was insane, but they loved it. It was so cool. And they had dancing there, and the kids played and adults played. It was really great for the kids to see. And the third year that I applied for it, they allowed us to go to Fuller Art Museum every week for 3 months, and the kids had art lessons. So I just felt like if I ever had a chance to pay back, I would like to do that. And when I saw an opening on the Cultural Committee here in Whitman, I didn't know we even had one until then. I did apply for it, and I'm very, very glad I did.
So besides yourself, Kathy Youngman, who is the chair this time around, you two are the longest tenured committee members.
Yes.
Who are some of the people that are on the committee right at the moment?
Chris Walker is, and she does a lot for us when it's time for the the concerts. She does the flyers for us, and she really loves doing that kind of creative thing. There's Sheila and Kinch, and she's a member of the I have to look this up because I had to write it down.
Yep.
Southeastern Philharmonic Orchestra, and they're in their 101st year this year. They're going to be doing a free concert here in Whitman on April 24th. And so she really helps us when we sit around and talk about the kinds of things that we'd like to help out with. Denise Goldsberry is a new member, and she's been doing great with fundraising for us, which we've never done in the 3 years that I've been on the council. And Bill Asmussen has jumped in and offered to do all the concerts for us as far as keeping in touch with people involved in getting the schedule set up. So it's been really a great year for us.
Sounds like it's kind of like a team effort. It seems as though you all find ways to help out. You know, you kind of listed here, and I want to kind of give you credit. You and Denise, who both prepared me to be able to have our conversation here and talk a little bit about the cultural committee, or the cultural council, so to speak here. Some of the things that to let folks know exactly what it is that is done on the committee. Now, talk to me about a term. I mean, how long is it something that you're elected by the town? Is it something that you're appointed? Is it the board votes? How does it work?
Well, if you're interested in it, and I hope after seeing this program, maybe some more people will join it. A letter of intent has to be sent to, or of interest has to be sent to Frank Lynham. Help me out with that. I always mess it up. But the terms are from 1 year to 3 years, and it all depends on what's open at the time. So if someone has left after a 1 year, then they're going to fill a 1 year. If somebody's left after a 3 year. But it kind of rotates, and Kathy and I are still trying to figure out how they decide what the terms are. But we've both been on for 1 year, and now we're on for 3 years, and mine ends the end of June, but I'm allowed to do it one more time. So we don't understand the rotation, but it works out great. And
I think it's a matter that, so not everybody is up at the same time.
Right.
It's something like that. That's what I kind of get.
Yeah.
You guys, from what I understand is the council has a lot to do with grants. What is it that your committee does when it comes to funding and grants?
Well, grants are due October 15th of each year, and you can find the grants. We usually put it in the newspaper. But if you go on our site, and I don't have Facebook, so Denise said, "Don't worry about it, Frank." And Frank's going to take.
And we're also putting it up
Kevin
throughout.
Kevin is going to do it. Yeah,
we'll put it up throughout the program.
That's
See, it
awesome.
just popped up now. You don't even know it, but it did. It just popped up on the screen. Okay.
Yeah. Then, but if they go on there, they'll see what the grant time is to timing and the applications. Or if they go on Mass Cultural Society. Their site, then the grants are all on that as well. And we do have to have them in by the 15th, but we do grants for, like, the library has programs, and they're open for children's programs and adult programs. Sometimes it's painting, sometimes it's storytelling, all kinds of things that the library does. Senior citizens, the same way. They have all kinds of things that they apply for. The schools, we do a lot with the schools as well. We partially fund the Arts in Bloom every year, which is a great thing. The kids do artwork, and they have flowers set up to go with the art, and all ages. They have things all along the corridors and in the library and things, and it's really fun. So we do that, and field trips for kids, anything that parents and the schools can't really afford, we try to grant so that we cover all the ages in town.
Okay. Now, from what I understand, the largest project that the council oversees is the fun that we see every Thursday night in the summer for the first 4 to 5 weeks, starting late June, early July.
Yeah, that is our biggest thing. We do 4 to 5, like you said. Usually we've been doing 4, but this year we were able to get a 5th band in. And so it's going to start on June 30th, and then it'll go every Thursday at the gazebo. which is a cool place. And it's the grass and the water and the waterfall, the fountain and everything. It's just so pretty. And kids and adults all show up, and they dance and they sing along, and it's just so nice to see the community come together on something like that.
How important is it to have the community come together for an event like that, especially during the warmer months? I mean, I think that's kind of important. It kind of reminds me when I was younger and going camping or going somewhere where there was, other families camping and everybody coming together, whether it would be a movie night or roller skating or something like that where,
whole families.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all ages. I've taken pictures along the way and started an album because we don't get to see everything because we're too involved. But this way here we can look back and just really just have a good time laughing and enjoying the fact that so many people come out for it. And this year we're going to be providing food. Well, we aren't, but we are going to have people come and provide food and ice cream. There's going to be an ice cream truck, and I believe it's Trio's Cafe.
Yep.
That's coming
Temple Street.
for the first time this year. We've never tried that before. Excuse me.
It's okay. Yeah, I know Trio Cafe, they do a fantastic job over there. And they're involved with a lot of community events, so you couldn't ask for anybody better. And you also said there'll be an ice cream truck.
Right. So, and it is for sale. It's not that we can give that kind of thing away. The concerts are free, but we do have to allow them to charge for the food they're bringing. So we're going to try it out for the first time and see if it works. And if it's something that is beneficial for Trio and for the ice cream company, then we'll continue it. We'll see how it goes.
Now, this year's concert is actually dedicated to a very special individual. Who is that individual that is being dedicated for?
Oh, Lenny Baker. And I believe that the bands are being asked to play one of his songs.
Blue Moon.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just drifted off to Greece real quick.
Yeah.
Now, did you ever have a chance to meet Lenny?
No, he's on the high school wall on the Wall of Fame.
Yeah.
And I've seen him in movies and stuff, but on TV, but I've never met him, no.
I will say I was fortunate to meet him once because there was an event that was held at the Hanson AA. I want to say it was maybe about 8 or 9 years ago. And Paul Wayne and a couple of other comedians were performing. And while Paul Wayne was up, in the crowd happened to be Lenny Baker. And I wanted to get permission to make sure, because that's what we do when we go out, we videotape something. We usually, out of courtesy, do you mind if we videotape this? And Paul's like, yep, you can, but just double check with Lenny. And I went over and I asked him, and Lenny was like, I have no problem with it.
That's
I've been on TV before. No, he was just like, no problem. And we still have that in our archives, and I'm sure we'll show that. But it was fantastic to see Paul Wayne and Lenny Baker get together, and this is and he recently passed.
Right.
So it's sad that that he's passed, but it's very, very nice that the Cultural Council is going to dedicate the season to him. A wonderful Whitmanite.
Yeah, it's exciting to know that people like that come from Whitman. Yeah.
Who do you feel benefits the most from the Cultural Council? Who benefits the most?
Honestly, everybody does, because when we think about the little kids benefiting at story times at the library, all the way up through the senior center, I couldn't pick one group. I just feel like everybody in town does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you had mentioned Denise. I believe Denise was kind of somewhat instrumental in a fundraiser that has been going on with these very special T-shirts. What do you know? Talk to me about that.
She had a friend of hers who's an artist take a picture of the gazebo.
Yep.
And then she painted it And it's on these T-shirts, on the front of the T-shirts. And the T-shirts come in like 5 different colors.
Yep.
And then on the back is a list of all the bands and the fact that we are dedicating
it's a
it
T-shirt.
to. Yeah, it's going to be to Lenny Baker on the bottom, and they're beautiful. She did a beautiful job. She did it like with fall colors, and oh, they're so pretty.
The artist that Jan is speaking of happens to be Paula Donnelly. Paula Donnelly is a local girl who has a shop. I think it's called Petey Hollow, and she does a lot of paint. She paints a lot of stuff, and she is, I guess, specially designing these T-shirts. I myself, a big fan of fundraisers, have bought a T-shirt. I actually bought I don't know if it's orange or tangerine.
Yeah, I
bought
bought one today
there were a
on that
couple-
color. I bought another one, but I bought that one
black,
today.
You have black, you have a darker blue, and then a lighter blue, and then there's a green. And on top of buying the T-shirt, I also donated a little extra because
Thank
it doesn't
you.
hurt. It's for a good cause, and it's benefiting other people, which is fantastic. Now I know that there was a little concern because you had to have a certain amount of shirts purchased, right? And were you successful in being able to have that number purchased?
Yes, by the skin of our teeth. But all of a sudden, it was like a jump in the numbers, and it worked out beautifully. Yeah, yeah. So
How cool is that, though?
I
That
know.
to have these. I mean, this is the first time that I know that there have been T-shirts in the past that would say the Whitman Cultural Council, but this one is kind of dedicated to the concerts.
Right.
And I like the whole idea of having all the bands. Oh, I remember when I saw them.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we have some bands that come back every year, and then every year we have some new ones.
Is there a particular band that you like? Is there a particular group that over the past couple of years that you've
Am I
liked seeing?
supposed to say that?
It's not a bad thing. Well, don't forget, you're not. Now, how many members are there on the council?
6.
6. So I'm sure that everybody will have their favorite.
Yes. My favorite.
Can I guess?
Okay.
I'll
try.
bet it's Gina Mark.
How did you know that?
They're very talented.
And they're doing the one on June 30th,
30th.
which has made me extremely happy because I'm going to be going away for 2 weeks in July. And I kept saying to Bill, see if you can get Gina Mark before I leave or after I come home. So they're doing that very first one. And they tend to bring a group with them because they're so well known.
Right.
And it's really been fun to have them. Yeah.
Let's talk a little about, you mentioned about the first concert. And this, again, just to remind folks, June 30th, mark it in your calendar right now. This will be at the gazebo at Whitman Town Park. Not many communities have a beautiful park
Oh, I know.
like the town of Whitman. And hopefully you've had a chance to take it in. And especially on a nice summer night, there's nothing better than being around the gazebo, surrounded with a lot of other folks who are having a good time. I believe that there's going to be a raffle and some prizes, right?
Yeah, that was another one of Denise's ideas.
Okay.
We had also sold. Denise comes up with these great ideas that don't cost us anything.
Yep.
And so she had some books available, Mass Pass books, and they were businesses around the area, not just Whitman, but around different towns. So we still had a couple of those left, and so Denise is going to raffle off 2 of those that first night. And there'll be a Mass Pass book and a T-shirt in each of those prizes. So we're kind of excited about that too.
Okay. What is when you guys, now I know you do the fundraisers, but the grant money, is that something that specifically comes from the state that
Right.
that's kind of handed down to the council?
Yeah, we get about 6,060. I wish it was.
Oh my goodness. Imagine if it was
I
60,000.
didn't know what we could do with that. But we get about $6,000. And so all those people who have been able to send it in by the 15th of October, then we sit down around December and so that Kathy can go through them. Kathy Youngman can go through everything. And she sets them up as to what kind of grant it is that they're asking for. And then we go through it as well and vote on the ones that we think that are going to be able to service the most people. And then we decide how much we're going to be able to give them. And it's just really fun because we do find that some of them are like $300, some of them about $600. It varies. It depends on what they're asking
Well,
for.
you think $6,600? Oh, I could do a lot with 60. But when it comes down to it, it can go
fast.
It can go fast, and then once all your money's gone, then what?
Then there isn't any up until now, and that's why it's been so much fun to have Denise on the committee because she just loves doing this stuff. And so now we will have some money. We have a gift fund, it's called, but we've only had a few $100s in it, never much, because that's supposed to go to postage and all that kind of thing too, if we have any. So now we're going to be able to have some money to do extra things. As a matter of fact, we were able to do Gina Mock because of this. They hadn't gotten it in by the 15th, excuse me. So we weren't going to be able to have them. But now that we knew we had some money coming in, we were able to fund Gina Mock too. So we'll be able to do things like that and for the schools and stuff too.
Okay. I suppose I would ask you, you talk about having ideas and things too. Is there anything in the works for later on this year in regards to ideas or trinkets? Again, you're doing the T-shirts. That's something that was being done now. Anything else that has, it's a signature of Whitman that we might be seeing come later on, maybe in the fall?
Well, we had, I never had one, but I understand they used to have the Toll House cookies with like a bite out of it. And God bless her, Denise found one for me, and Kathy, so she brought it to one of our last meetings. So we'd like to see if we could resurrect that. It has a trademark on it, so we're going to have to find out who did it in the first place. But if we could resurrect that, we'd love to make like magnets out of those and have those available too. And then, what was the other one? Bill had thought of it.
A book for local businesses?
Yeah, just the local businesses. And I guess that's something that a number of organizations are doing now. I haven't seen one, so I don't know exactly what it looks like.
How important is something like that to showcase your local businesses and put together a book for folks to have at their disposal if they're looking for, whether it's a hardware store, whether it's a local eatery, or anything above?
We just felt like it would be important so that after selling those mass pass books, they weren't all local, and we were kind of disappointed. That was the first thing we looked for, what's from Whitman, because we'd rather keep it in Whitman, and that way there people, I think, will use it more and buy it, because then you're supporting your own businesses in town, whether it's a free cleaning of a shirt or whatever it is that we can ask people to do. And I think most of the businesses in Whitman are very supportive, and they have been in the past. So we're kind of excited. We won't know if it's going to work until we really get into it, but that's something that's in the works.
Are you hoping that the businesses will be receptive to come aboard and do stuff like that?
Yeah, we really are, because we'd rather keep the money here in town. So we'll see what happens.
One of my notes that I got from Denise was, as far as future events, has she mentioned anything in regards to a restaurant fundraiser night? Anything like that?
She hasn't at the meeting, but she's always coming up with something new.
How good is that, though? How good is that yeah, at least that people who are coming and joining the council come with fresh ideas?
Awesome, because we came up with ideas before, but none of us knew what to do with the ideas, and so we think, oh, that would be fun, like painting pumpkins, in the fall and having a contest to see which one wins, and asking stores to put them in the windows, so that everybody could see them. But it was overwhelming to us. We didn't know where to even start. But Denise, this is one of her gifts, and the same with Bill coming in and just taking over with the concerts, setting up the concerts. We would love to have new talent and fresh ideas, because that's how things grow.
We got less than 5 minutes left, so it'll go quick from here. Are you still looking for members, or do you have a full committee at the moment?
I don't know if there is a full committee number. When we were down to 3 at one point, so we really couldn't do much of anything because you have to have this quorum and all of that stuff. But now we have 6, and I would love to see more people join with ideas, and we're ready. We're open to it, and people are excited now on the committee because there are more ideas. So.
If somebody wanted to be a part of the Whitman Cultural Council, how can they do that? How often does the council meet? We meet
once a month at 7 o'clock over at the library, and they have a historical room in the back, so we meet in there. It's only for an hour because they kick us out at 8 because they close.
Of course. Can't stay all night.
Nope. No matter what we're
Don't
having
care if you have a
fun or
library
not,
card out.
So we meet there, and if people are interested, they could, if they know one of us, they could contact us. But otherwise, get in touch with Frank Lineman and tell them that they're interested, and then it has to go through, I guess, the selectmen, and then they'll decide from there. It takes a little while, and so they shouldn't get discouraged if they do sign up and want to do it. And then you have to be sworn in and all of that stuff. But we really have a good time.
Anything that we haven't touched upon with the final few moments, if there's anything that you wanted to touch upon, what would that be?
Checking out our site, which is something we talked about at the beginning.
Which we're putting up right now as we're
cool.
speaking. Yeah.
I don't think so. I think we touched upon just about everything, unless there was something there you saw that I have forgotten.
No, I think we've kind of touched upon. Yeah. But I do want people to keep in mind that it takes a community to be able to do little events like this. And if somebody wanted to find out more, you can always stop by Town Hall on South Avenue and check in with Frank Lynham and find out what you have to do if you want to get involved. And as you've heard Jan say, they're looking for people who have new ideas, like a Denise Goldsberry who's come in and joined some of the people who've been on the board, and together they've been able to come up with ideas and make things fun and exciting for yet another year, because that's what the Whitman Cultural Council likes to do whenever, and no matter, the members that I've met over the years have always had a good time finding ways to entertain and bring the folks in Whitman together, which is kind of a big key. Well, I want to thank you so much.
And I want to thank you for all the things you do for us, because you're always right there climbing up on that gazebo, taking those videos, and we really appreciate that.
And my big butt will be up there again this year, videotaping them. And again, if you want to find out more, check out the Whitman Cultural Council. Find out more. Check them out on Facebook, and get involved, especially with the fundraisers, because the fundraisers, basically, it's going to benefit the community at large. Well, listen, until the next time, thank you for watching CrossTalk. Have a great day.